Steel is dead. We saw the body. It's time for human beings to stop relying on leagues and titans and start saving ourselves.
I can give each of you the power to be your own hero.
Clark's body disappears, and suddenly these new Supermen show up out of the blue.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Superman.
There is only one Superman.
Hi, this is Marc Morrell from ToonBarn. We're here at New York Comic Con 2018. We're talking about Reign of the Supermen, and I have the director, Sam Liu. Welcome to...
Hello again.
So, I was talking to Phil earlier, and Phil said that he really thinks you guys nailed it in every perspective on this film.
Yeah.
And not just compared to previous films, but, you know, the quality of it, the animation, the sound, everything. What do you think?
You know, I have to be honest, this one was a little hard, you know, and as I kind of tell people, is, you know, I might be a little close to this one just because I felt like there was a thing that this story was trying to be, or maybe it kind of wasn't quite as what it should have been, and so I spent, I think, a lot of time, you know, tweaking it a little bit towards the end, and so at this point, it's hard because I felt like there was things that we did, and I can't quite tell if they were good or not, decisions or not, you know. But I feel like at least the effort is there, you know what I mean? So it's great to hear from Phil, and I've heard actually from another person within the office just about how they really enjoyed it. And, you know, I hope the fans obviously love it because there's, you know, obviously things going against it, you know, like. You know, being in continuity and not so faithful to the comic, you know, and again, like, it would be impossible to sort of translate the comic because it's a year, you know, it's a year-long event with, you know, multiple titles, you know, intersecting it, with just these big events that were trying to set up other big events and stuff like that. And so, you know, how do you sort of find a story in all this, you know, that sort of comes off of, you know, Superman's death, you know, and keep it concise and, you know, and poignant.
Aren't 4 separate Superman better than one? Shouldn't it be the case, right?
Yes, if they're all good, you know, they have the good intentions, yes.
And they can stay good working together.
Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's, you know, but I think that's part of the thing too, is just, it's almost like, you know, I know Superman most of the time, there's almost like a biblical or religious angle to it, you know what I mean? So there's elements of, I feel like, even though we're not trying to hit it so far, you know, hard on the head, but there is. It's almost like, you know, when you know, Superman, who is supposed to be sort of the moral compass for everybody, what happens when that's gone, and who takes advantage of that situation when there's something missing, you know, and
like Lex Luthor,
right, or, you know, one of the Supermen, perhaps, you know,
right,
and but also sort of, you know, where are the people, you know, who they're looking for something, and what do they gravitate towards? So, you know, it's you know, there's a lot of symbology and all that kind of stuff that's in it. So it's again, there was a lot more than what's on the surface, I feel like, you know, and there's a lot of things that I was trying to, like, you know, kind of going like, oh, there's these things in it, and I think these need to be addressed and stuff. So,
all right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on ToonBarn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our director, producer, you know him from so many of these great films, Sam Liu.
Feel a little bit about this earlier, just when his Starbuck Superman character came across my desk the first time, I was really happy because, you know, in the story, it's like, how do you relate to somebody with half a face that's a robot? You know, it has to have enough in there where you can, when he's saying certain things, you'll believe him as a human. Because there's moments, and this is actually something that I talked to Tim about, a specific scene which, you know, we had talked about, like, well, we weren't sure if it was going to work or not because it's so sensitive. And I was afraid it wouldn't look right because it's kind of like, you know, this Frankenstein monster saying very sort of emotional, sort of sensitive things. But once I saw Phil's design, I kind of felt like, oh, he nailed that small window where you know, you're not going to laugh at it, or you're not going to be horrified by it. Like, you know, there's a sensitivity to it. There's a subtleness to it. So, you know, again, I think Cyborg Superman was probably the smallest sort of like hitbox. Like, he had to be able to touch different emotions and stuff like that. And so I think he was the hardest because it's the most complex.
How do we even begin to fight that?
Experience the complete story in a special cinematic event for the first time.